This is the Sports Hit List by the fans for the fans.
Let's start off with NFL offseason. I guess we start off with, what we call the reigning defending NFL champs in the Eagles, who are in the NFC East, in which we saw the Commanders make a run, and the Eagles clearly won the Super Bowl. What are our thoughts here, I guess, for the offseason for that division? Trav, let me start off with you. And anything pop out to you?
I mean, if we start with the champs, I don't see much that they really need to fill in terms of holes on their roster. You brought in, Mekhi Beckman. He got signed with the Chargers for a nice little 2-year deal. So what do? You go out there and you trade for Kenyon Green, former first-round pick from the Texans at the guard position. You know, that Texans offensive line was a little under fire this year. So maybe getting him in a new environment, surrounded by all that Eagles talent on that offensive line, you just ain't got to be the weak link. You know what I mean? They already 4 strong against you. You ain't got to be the weak link. You know what I mean? Brought in A.J. Dillon, another guy. Paul, there you go. Another guy to vulture touchdowns from Barkley. You know what I mean? You know he gonna get some short yardage stuff out there. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But in terms of that team, you signed Zach Braun to a big time deal. Secondary might need some help again. You know what I mean? You brought in 2 rookies, but you did jettison a lot of talent, you know what I mean, veteran talent, you know what I mean? So you may need a couple guys in that draft, but we all know Howie Roseman. He going to work that draft, man. He going to get some players in there. So I don't really think the Eagles, they really at the top of the list, you know what I mean? The Giants, they still out here in quarterback limbo. We don't know what they're going to do. They sitting there waiting around for Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that's going to happen for them. They talking about Russell Wilson. The Commanders. Commanders have looked pretty good. I like the move to go get Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, shore up that blind side for your young rookie quarterback. You got Deebo Samuels. I think Deebo still has a little bit left in the tank. You know what I mean? He can go out there and be the number 2 wide receiver. You don't need him to be the number 1 guy. Uh, in terms of the Cowboys, has anybody told the Cowboys their free agency started? That the offseason started yet? Did anybody get Jerry a call? Like, it started.
I mean, they got Miles Sanders.
They got Miles Sanders. So good. Yeah.
Again, did anybody tell them that all season?
Well, Javonte Williams too, 1-year deal, $3 million. Right, had a max value for 3.5. So
that ain't worth nothing.
Wide receiver Paris Campbell signed a 1-year deal. Robert Jones, Dante Fowler Jr., Peyton Turner too as well. So I guess.
Well, let me be the first to tell you, all those names you named, none of them move the needle. All right. They need to go out here. They need to go out here and get Micah signed up before the price go up to $50 million per year. Because you see what Myles Garrett and Chase done did to the non-quarterback market. But Cowboys, typical Cowboys fashion. They like me with homework. They like to wait to the last minute. You know what I mean? It's Sunday night. You coming back from spring break. Now you want to do all your homework. Man,
I don't like students like you. You guys piss me. I don't like students like you.
The work get done, and A's got A's. You know what I mean? You got the A's, all right? So it is what it is.
Paul, what are your thoughts here with this division? Even with the Eagles, Brandon Graham retiring, does that make a big impact as far as for the Eagles? Are they able to fill that hole? And anything else that stands out to you in that NFC East?
Well, I mean, listen, Brandon Graham is a leader, right? And a leader, and has been a proven leader on that team for a decade plus, right? So sure, it has an impact, but from a talent perspective, I mean, listen, Jalen Carter is a game changer, right? Like, Nolan Smith they got some game changers. Like, I think losing Milton Williams will hurt them. But you're talking about, if you ask me who are the 3 best drafting teams of the last decade, right, in the NFL draft, the Eagles are at the top of the list of how they kind of finessed the whole Carson Wentz situation. Doesn't matter what assets you get until you do something with it. Very similar to the Celtics in basketball, right? Like, You can go get all the ones in the world, but if you shit the brick on those picks, you're in a bad spot. But they've turned the Carson Wentz trade into A.J. Brown, the ability to afford Barkley, the ability to pay Smith, the ability to pay Hurts, right? They also got Hurts out of that whole Wentz debacle, right? And then you look at the corners they just brought in DeJean and Mitchell. And low-key, I think the signing for them with taking on a Dory Jackson, a former first-round pick that's the veteran, that's got some speed, that can play the slot, will help them. But I do think they lost a lot of guys, though, right? Like, I think retaining Braun was a big deal. But obviously, I think the Commanders in the division had the best offseason. You're talking about a team that has surprise fortune early, and then now they went and got some real guys to go with them, right? You keep the veterans like Wagner around to keep the guys in check. You bring in Kinlaw from the Niners. You bring in Sheldon Day. You bring in Cleveland Farrell. You bring in a lot of guys. And to me, that makes a huge difference. Obviously, Will Harris on the back end. But I'm not going to let Trav get off easy. The Giants had a I know we're talking about the quarterback positions up in limbo. I think they're right where they want to be. They'll get Russ or Aaron Rodgers. And I think they're fine with either one with Dayball's system. What they do with the 3 pick is to be determined. I don't think they should spend it on a quarterback, but that's just my opinion. But I think they had a really, really aggressive, defensively strong draft. I was impressed, honestly, right? Like, you bring in Chauncey Golston, you bring in Ledbetter, Robertson Harris is good. Javon Holland I think he got a little too much money, but played really good football in Miami. I think the Giants might have one of the better defenses in the NFC. And if their goal is to play that keep away strategy, which they did late in the year anyway, which led to stupid wins, which is why they're picking 3 instead of 1. It ain't that bad, man. Like, but I don't know. I think the Eagles are, obviously are a really good football team. So to say they won't be back is crazy. But it's the NFL and getting back ain't easy. Just because the Chiefs have done it don't mean everybody can do it.
But we all know without a quarterback, you're not going anywhere in this league. So until that quarterback situation get handled, I can't sit here and believe in anything the Giants did.
We watched the veteran Tom Brady walk into Tampa in the offseason and deliver. We watched the veteran Brett Favre do the same thing in 2 locations. We watched Michael Vick do it. Like, it's not impossible, right? Like, if you're an accurate thrower of the football,
it's not. But you know what?
Of all time.
Right. But again, that mindset, I think everyone, I guess Rodgers trying to duplicate that veteran quarterback to go to another team and win the Super Bowl is not an easy feat. Not everyone's Tom Brady. Not everyone can do it. So.
Right.
I think if we peel the blanket back at 6 a.m. when the air conditioning's on and you're like, I know you're still a little cold, right? Hopefully you got on clothes. Hopefully you got on clothes.
The real life comparison. This is so real in my household, bro. I went through this. I'm literally going through this.
I mean, you just never know. Depending on how last night went. My point is, Aaron Rodgers wasn't as horrible as the record showed. Like, the Jets lost, 7 one-possession football games, 3 of them late. Lots of injuries including himself. Like, I know the expectations were a little unrealistic for Jets fans, right? The day Aaron Rodgers signed, they said Super Bowl, right? Like, so it was like a little, it was like very mixed.
Come on now.
If you will.
You about to get Greg and Chuck in.
It's very mixed, right? Like, very mixed. Like, oh man, we got Melo, we're gonna win it all, right? Like, it was very similar to that in that regard. But the Jets defensively had a drop off last year, right? I think the transition from solid downward. They still have some of the best defensive players. Like, losing Reed is going to hurt them. But I mean, listen, if Sauce is as good as he say he is, right? If you really honeying up barbecue sauce from Chipotle or Polynesian sauce, we need you to deliver, right? Like, if you're a Jets fan. And they got a lot of assets. Quentin Williams is good. They lost that edge rusher. Like, the Jets should be okay. Not that we're talking AFC East, but I can see Russell Wilson coming in there and getting the ball to a vertical receiver. And they need Tyrone Tracy to actually have a good season this year, which he can. So, but trade that number 3 pick.
Moving on, we got the AFC East. We went to the NFC East, now the AFC East. You got the Bills coming off their loss. You also got Rick's Dolphins. Shout out to him. Then you got the Patriots and then the Jets. So where do we go from here, Trav? What do you got?
I mean, we got the top of the division. We got the Bills, who, I mean, they signed up, some of their key guys from last year, some of those wide receivers who were good contributors, There was kind of a addition by subtraction. You got rid of Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen ascended, into MVP status. They locked him up on a big time contract when, coming off an MVP season. Shout out to his agent for capitalizing on that. You bring in Joey Bosa off the edge. I mean, if you can keep him healthy, I mean, he should be a quality contributor. Von Miller, I believe they let him go. Chances are they might bring him back. I mean, if you bring him back, you got Joey Bosa, depending on how healthy they are, that's a pretty decent duo. Miami, you got rid of Raheem Mostert, who, had a down year last year. It's all about keeping Tua healthy. You bring in Zach Wilson from what a lot of reports said the time in Denver, did him some good. So that'd be a quality backup, I guess, if you go right there for it. Let's see what else we got. New England. New England was, they was out here big spenders. We knew they had a lot of money. Some would say they overspent for Melton. My Panthers, we was in the race for that, but New England got him. So I guess, hey, I want to go out there and give them that extra money. Go right ahead. They went up there and shored up that offensive line, signing a key center to help out Drake May. They still got to get a wide receiver. I heard Stephon Diggs was visiting last week or yesterday, so we'll see what happens with the Jets. That Justin Fields signing. Listen, Paul, I know you the big, Field supporter, but I just don't see that as the signing that's gonna, reinvent them and get them to where they want to go. I get that you brought in a new coaching staff, you brought in a new front office. Aaron Glenn, he wants to set the tone. We'll see. I want to see what they do offensively because I don't think Justin Fields is exactly the guy that's gonna go out there and necessarily. He's more of a bridge quarterback, and the contract says that he's more of a bridge quarterback. So we'll see what happens from an offensive standpoint. Who else we got in that division? Did we cut
Patriots?
Patriots. Patriots, they went out there with big spenders, you know what I'm saying? They went out there. Mike Vrabel came in. Like I said, they still got to go find a number one wide receiver. So here they are in the draft. What pick they got, Paul? Aren't they what?
They signed Mac Hollins, so I guess they said
he barely got shoes on.
Facts, bro. I'm giving you the facts. I'm sorry.
He don't show up to work with shoes on. I can't trust a man like that.
Well, let me say this one thing about. Let me say this before I get to Paul about Justin Fields. Again, it goes back to what I said to you guys about changing culture. You see, the Jets are making an attempt, getting a new GM, getting a new coach, and now getting in Fields. And remember last year when the Steelers had Fields and Wilson, there was a matter of who we're going to start, right, and who's going to play that. So this is Fields' opportunity to kind of get his shine in a sense, right? Now he's won. So I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt. Paul, what are your thoughts?
As you should. I mean, first of all, the nerve for Travis to talk about Justin Fields when he was part of the reason you've been relevant in fantasy football the last couple of years.
I never had
DJ Moore, Justin Fields connection.
DJ Moore. First of all, DJ Moore's quarterback proof. Don't do that.
About
DJ Moore's
quarterback proof. Black people, okay? This is it's a black issue right now. The loyalty, bro. The nerve of you. To turn your back on the guy that has put money in your pocket.
Not enough because he can't beat you.
It's your boy. Man.
So you gonna tell me DJ Moore isn't quarterback proof? Come on now, it ain't Justin Fields.
Listen, in all seriousness, I think I know it's easy to talk about Justin Fields or just the quarterback situation in New York based on what has happened and transpired the last several years. But we got to give him a little credit for not fumbling the situation, right? Because a very Jet move would have been re-signing Aaron Rodgers and running it back with a new coach and hoping for the best. Or another Jet move would have been like, man, let's dump another top 10 pick on a quarterback. They ain't do none of that. They actually went, in my opinion, and got the most affordable option for short term. They weren't bringing Sam Darnold back. They weren't paying him $50 a year. Like, what they did was right. They went and got a quarterback that also has a supreme amount of familiarity with their best offensive player, which is Garrett Wilson. I may remind you, that was his quarterback.
Carl, that's in Ohio State. Not the
Receiver University. Okay? So my point is, listen, I like some of the other stuff the Jets did, right? They get Cisco on the back end. They bring in Brandon Stevens. I like Sherwood. That's a very new move, I would say. I like that. Derek Nandi to add some up front on the front four defensively. They did some good stuff. My concern is what they didn't do on the offensive line, which now to me says they need to spend those picks and that currency to be able to kind of shore that up. But you're talking about a game manager at best, mobility, and a team that's willing to play dogfight football. You got to love that. So I ain't got no beef with Aaron Glenn is going to bring that type of energy. Now, when we talk about some of the other teams, I'm still trying to figure out if the Miami Dolphins are at spring break or if they're not interested in playing winning football. I'm just trying to figure out. If they were going to move on from my boy Tyreek Hill, they should have did it already, right? Because he's making a lot of money to be a part-time receiver like he was last year, okay?
Yeah.
And now he's promoting his running store in Miami. He already said he didn't want to be there. There's a lot of things happening with that, right? But I like what the Patriots did. Yes, they picked 9. I think they're going to definitely go receiver. But this is a very receiver-loaded draft. There's still some veteran receivers out there. I could see Stephon Diggs coming home. I know he was just there. I could see that happening. But they're going to spend a pick and find somebody. That's definitely going to happen. As for the Bills, listen.
Run it back. No, you guys, we're going to run it back because we've been here before. Before you go.
The nerve to not
run it back.
James Cook is insanity. Okay, like I can respect some of the other things that happened. Josh Allen had to get his money. Travis, I think to your point about Joey Bosa, I mean he's not the only edge they brought in, right? So you're gonna see a usage of Bosa similar to what you saw of Von Miller. Because you're looking at Greg Rousseau, who signed $80 million, 55 guaranteed. He had a really good year, right?
Definitely did.
He was in Mahomes' face all game in the title game. Michael Hoke is also out there. And then you bring in Ojimboji, homie from New Orleans, that had a field day on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. They actually went and did some good things. I low-key like Josh Palmer out there. He's another one of those scat receivers that want to play underneath. But I still think they're banking a lot on Keon Coleman. I didn't really see it like that last year, but that's what they're missing. Is that receiver that could just win one-on-one, jump ball, Josh Allen, make it happen in the red zone. They don't have that. But Keon Coleman could be that. We loved him on the draft, right? A year ago. We loved him draft day.
Thanks for watching the Sports Hit List. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In fact, do it now.